Hi everybody, welcome back to Mayhem Bling, where it's creativity amid chaos each and every day. Today I'm going to be doing a cooking video for you. It's becoming chili season, and so I'm going to make my homemade chili today. This is a video that was requested by my daughter, so I'm going to get everything set up. I'm actually going to cook this chili in my Instant Pot, but you could use the same ingredients, and I will let you know how to do it if you want to do it on your stovetop. So hang on, let me get everything situated and we'll get started. The first thing you're going to do on your Instant Pot is set it to saute. It's going to take it just a little bit to get heated up to the right temperature. Once it comes on and says that it's hot, we're going to start by putting in one bag of chopped onions and one bag of chopped green peppers. Of course, you could use a fresh chopped onion, and I would say 2 chopped green peppers. We're also going to add about 2 pounds of ground beef. So we're going to wait until the Instant Pot comes up to temp, and then we'll get started. Alright, my Instant Pot has come up to temperature. It says hot, so we can start by adding our onions, bell peppers, and I've got about 2.5 pounds of ground beef there. Typically, I would get the pack at Walmart that I think it's 2.25 pounds of ground beef. That's usually what I would use. So somewhere around 2.5 pounds of ground beef is what you'll be using for this. Let me rearrange my camera angle and we'll get started. So I'm just going to start by adding my chopped green peppers and onions. And I have had these out for just a little while, so they're not totally frozen, so it won't take them too long to cook. So just put all of that in there. Then I'm going to put my 2.5 pounds of ground beef in. And I love the fact that you can do all of this right in your Instant Pot, and you don't have to do this part in a pan on the stove to brown your meat and your onions. And then you just add the rest of the stuff right into your Instant Pot and you're good to go. One pot meal. So that's looking pretty full, but that's alright. We're going to cook this down. I'm going to season it, but I'm going to wash my hands first. Alright, now that I've got my hands washed, I'm going to season it with this Himalayan pink sea salt, black pepper, and garlic. You can find this sometimes at Walmart, sometimes at Publix in the smaller can. But this is an 18.5 ounce jar. I use this on a lot of stuff when I'm cooking. Chicken, pork, beef. So I'm going to season this. I got this big thing on Amazon, and I will put a link in the video description for that. So I'm going to go ahead and just season with your heart. You'll know how much seasoning to do. That was probably a couple tablespoons. And then we're just going to cook this down till the vegetables get tender, which won't take long, and the ground beef gets all browned. So we're just going to cook this down, and I'll check back in here shortly. As you can see, it's cooking away. It's starting to brown. And if your family doesn't like onions, just leave the onions out. If you don't like green bell peppers, leave those out. You can absolutely just do the hamburger meat and the seasonings in this step. Your chili's still going to come out awesome. And if you don't have the seasoning I used, absolutely just use salt, pepper. You could use just salt, pepper, garlic powder, some onion powder. You season the meat the way that you like to eat it. This is just the way I do mine. So I'm going to let it cook down a little bit more and I'll be back. Okay, I'm going to zoom you in just a little bit here. Because as you can see, the ground beef is browned. It's nice and brown. But when I zoom you in, you can see that there's still a pretty good bit of liquid in there. And that's just coming from the frozen onions and bell peppers. And of course, it's some rendering from the ground beef. Even though this is browned, I'm going to keep cooking it for a little while to try to cook off some of that liquid. So we're just going to keep cooking this down till we can get rid of some of that liquid. Okay, so once you get your ground beef all browned with your onions and your peppers, you can absolutely drain all this liquid out. I don't usually do that because I feel like it gives it a little more flavor to leave that in there. So what we're going to do next, you're going to turn your Instant Pot off. And you're going to add the remaining ingredients. So I have a 28-ounce can of diced tomatoes and also a 14.5-ounce can of diced tomatoes. I have 2 cans of Bush's chili beans, and these are 27 ounces apiece. Now you can absolutely use 4 of the regular size, which would be about 14-ounce size cans. And again, you can do you. If you don't want that many beans, do 2 smaller cans or 3 small cans. Do 1 large can. However you like it. I like mine with 2 large cans. And then I'm going to use 2 packs of Chilio. I have 1 with onion, 1 without. You can do whatever you want to, both with onion, both without, whatever you want to. I really feel like this gives it just an additional layer of flavor. I'm also going to be using Mexican chili powder. This is a large jar. It's a 20-ounce jar. I live in the South. We cannot find this in the grocery store, even in the smaller jars. So I ordered this from Amazon, and that will last us for a pretty good while. I will link that in the video description below in case you want to order some. It is absolutely, in my opinion, the best chili powder that you can get out there. I'm also going to add about half of this 16-ounce box of elbow noodles. And I've been told this is a northern thing. We always put elbow noodles in our chili. I always have. My mom always did. Again, if you don't like noodles, you can leave those out. I'm also going to add some additional water, but I'm going to put everything else in first. Then I'm going to see how much water I think I need, because we don't want it to dry out when it cooks the noodles. So I'm going to go ahead and add this stuff, and we'll be back. Alright, so in goes the large can of tomatoes, the small can of tomatoes, one can of chili beans, And I get the one that's in the mild sauce. Now, they have all kinds of different heat levels. So, pick the one that suits you the best. I like mild. And there goes the second large can. One pack of Chili-O. And I'll look and see if you can get a large thing of Chili-O on Amazon. And if you can, I'll link that in the video too. Tear that down far enough. There's the second pouch. Now I'm just going to stir this up. And now's where I have to determine how much water I want to add. So I'm going to start by adding one of the large cans of water. I'm going to fill this with water. We're going to start there. I'm going to use hot water because that's going to help the Instant Pot come back up to pressure quicker, or at least in my mind, if I use hot water, it'll help it come up to pressure quicker. So, in goes one large can of water. Now, I do want to add that you also need to be paying attention that you have a maximum fill guide. So this is going to be your maximum fill right here. You do not want to go past that line. I'm going to add one more large can of water to this. And that is going to get us just barely below the max line. What I'm going to do next is add about half of this box of elbow noodles. I'm just going to pour them in. And I'm just guesstimating about half a box. I'm going to stir that around. Mix everything up real good. I'm still below the max line right there. Just barely, but I'm below it. So we're going to mix that up. Then I'm going to take my Mexican chili powder and I'm going to sprinkle it to cover the whole top of the pan. And again, this is all about the way I like the taste to be. If you like your chili with a little bit more heat to it, you're going to add more. If you like it with less heat, you're going to add less of this. You may not even want to add Mexican chili powder because you've got the Chili-O in there, which is going to give it the chili flavor. So I'm going to sprinkle this to cover the whole top of this pot. And I'm moving around. I don't want to put a whole bunch in one area. I'm moving around just to get it to where it pretty much covers the whole pot with a thin layer. Okay? So that's pretty much covered the whole pot. I'm going to stir it one more time to get that all mixed together. Scrape the sides and get it all off the sides. You want that to just all get blended in well in the juice. Okay, you got everything mixed up. Scraping the bottom. Everything's incorporated. Now, I'm going to put the lid on. You're going to make it sure it's set to sealing. So we've got the lid on, it's set to sealing. This is where I'm probably going to get some flack, and that's okay, but this is what I do. 45 minutes is my sweet spot. It may not be that way for everybody. But what I'm going to do is, I'm going to do manual for 45 minutes. It's on high pressure. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to cook that chili 45 minutes high pressure. And then we'll be back. So it's done cooking, and I'm going to let it just sit on idle until it says 10 minutes, and then I'm going to release the pressure, and then I'm going to look and see if I need to do anything else about the texture. So it's been done cooking now for 11 minutes. I'm going to release the pressure and see what the consistency is. I may want to turn it back on saute to thicken it up a little bit. I do have one of these pressure release arrows, I guess is what you call it. You put it on the pressure release valve, and it diverts your steam away. Like you can see, mine is under my cabinet. It diverts the steam away. So we're going to let that release the pressure, and then we'll be back. Okay, so that took 6.5 minutes for the steam to be released. This silicone steam diverter thing, and I don't know what the official name for that is. I'll link that in the video description below. It came from Amazon, and it is a lifesaver. I really enjoy the fact that it saves me from having all the steam just go straight up onto my cabinets. So I'll link that in the video description below as well. So then you just take that off, and typically I would just go ahead and let this sit and let it natural release. But because I'm doing the video, I wanted to go ahead and release the pressure. You can do whatever you want to do. You can release the pressure. I wouldn't release the pressure any sooner than 10 minutes, but you can just let it natural release if you want to. So we're going to go ahead and take the lid off. And I don't know how many people don't know this, but every day I see that people don't know this. This little thing right here in the handle on your Instant Pot is meant to hold your lid. And you can hold it on that side or this side. Either side will hold your lid. So let's go ahead and stir this around and just check the consistency. The noodles may have sunk to the bottom, so you're going to want to stir and get stuff off the bottom. I really feel like this is probably going to be a good consistency. To put some cheese and some crackers. If I felt like it was too thin, what I would do is I would turn it back on, I would turn it off, and then I would hit saute again. But if you do that, you're going to have to stand right here and stir it, because it's going to get really hot on the bottom and you don't want it to get scorched. But if you've done just as I've done, it should be fine. Now, you can do this exactly the way I've done this and cook it in a pot on the stove. You're going to cook the meat and the onions and the peppers the same way. You're going to add the same stuff. You're going to add the same amount of water. You're going to add the same amount of noodles. You may want to cook it down for a little bit. I'm going to say once you bring it to a boil, after you add everything to it, bring it to a boil. Let it boil for 3 to 5 minutes. Then you're going to turn it down to a simmer. You're going to let it simmer for an hour or so. Then you're going to add your macaroni noodles in, and you're going to just let it simmer until you get it to the consistency that you want it to be. You don't want to add the noodles in too soon if you're cooking it on stovetop, because the noodles will just kind of disintegrate. You can also cook it to the point before you're going to add the noodles, and if you want to hurry it up a little bit and not have to let it simmer more after you add the noodles, you can go ahead and cook the noodles in a separate pot and add them to the chili, let it simmer a few minutes, and you should be good to go. And again, this is a very flexible recipe. You can add or remove anything you want to add or remove. This is just the way I do it. Everybody's got their own favorite chili recipes. This just happens to be mine. I'll show you here in just a little bit when I plate some up. I love to put cheese on my chili. Cheese, crackers. Sometimes we add sour cream, or I do. My husband doesn't do sour cream, but you can fix this up any way you want to. This is just my basic chili recipe that I really enjoy, and like I said earlier, my daughter wanted the recipe, and so here we have it. My chili recipe from Alabama via Indiana, because, you know, the noodles are a northern thing. So I'll link everything I can in the video description below. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for stopping by. If it's not, I appreciate you hanging with me and watching my videos. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Hit that like button if you like the video. That helps my channel get recognized. And I will continue to post videos. It might be cooking, it might be crafting, but please stay tuned and look forward to some more videos. Give me just a minute and I'm gonna dip up some of this soup and let you see how it looks. Alright, let's plate some of this up, or I guess I should say bowl some of this up. Let's serve some of this up. It is a cooler, not a cold, cooler day here in Alabama. It's 73 degrees right now at almost 6:30. Rainy, drizzly all day long, and so it's a perfect day for a bowl of chili. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to move it over there. It's hard to see. I'm going to put me some shredded cheese on there. I don't know about y'all. Let me know in the comments. Do you like cheese on your chili? Do you do crackers or do you do bread? Do you do cornbread? Do you do what do you like to do with your chili? I hear that there's a whole bunch of different things that goes on, but here's what I like. Like me a bowl of chili with some cheese and some crackers. So let me know in the comments below how you like your chili. And again, thank you so much for stopping by and watching the video. I'm really close to 6,000 subscribers, so I might be having a giveaway. Stay tuned. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye, y'all.